All right. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've managed to get velvet fluff in my water. I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're really proud of yourself. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the vlog. My name is Skylar Dream, and I am a self-taught digital artist, crocheter, and small business owner. And it is Monday. It is the start of a new week, and thankfully, I had the day off thanks to Memorial Day. So I've been pretty much chilling at home today and trying to catch up on a few tasks that I need to do for my business. So this morning was pretty much honestly doing quite a bit of food prep for the rest of the week, as well as getting the vlog started and wrapping up the last Chubzillas. So do have these two little guys ready to be sewn and got this body done today. And pretty much what I want to do today is get these done while I still have a good amount of sunlight left, so I can do product pictures for the Chubzillas, because I did delay these specifically because I wanted to get these two done for the photo shoot. And yeah, I also still need to photograph the bear cat and the Nessie. So I will try to get those done today while I still have a good amount of sunlight. It is 1:30 and I want to get these done as fast as I possibly can so that way I could take advantage of the sun while it's still out and while it's still good lighting. So I'm gonna pretty much be putting my head down and getting these two wrapped up. The other one is somewhere. Oh, he's right there. Actually, now that I think about it, he kind of came out a little bit more chunky than this one. Yeah, you're a little bit more on the chunkier side. You don't really have much of a shape to you. But yeah, these are the two Chubzillas I'm going to be working on. They just need to get their legs, tails, and spine sewn on. And that's going to be what I'm going to be working on for the next, for as long as it takes me to get these two done. Then hopefully we can get to photographing the rest of my products before the sun goes down. And pretty much the goal for this week is going to be getting all the photos together and wrapping up my product listing so that I can have them ready to go, as well as getting some drafts done for the social media posts. So I'm going to start I'm going to do my best to do at least I'm going to do my best to post about the shop reopening, and I'm thinking of setting the shop reopening for maybe June 7th to give that sweet 2 week period. Although I don't know if I should move it up to Saturday or leave it to Sunday, because I'm hoping the 2 weeks is going to be more than enough time for people to prepare and say, okay, yeah, let me save a little bit of my paycheck so that I can buy something from the shop. So I'm hoping the 2 weeks is going to be the sweet period, but I need to make sure I'm advertising it on my social medias. So pretty much the goal is to get advertising material together later in the evening and then begin posting by either today or tomorrow. And then first goal is to get product photos done. The other thing I need to do too is update my portfolio because there are 3 other events that I want to begin applying to, but one of them won't open till June 5th. So, which I think is SAC Anime. I mentioned this in the last vlog, but which technically would have been yesterday when I mentioned it, but I digress. Anyway, so yeah, the goal for this week is pretty much just to get all of the shop postings close to wrapped up at the very least, and be pretty consistent with my marketing for the next 2 weeks so that I'm annoying as possible. And people know that I do have shop reopening happening in June, and hopefully we can get a little bit more traction going towards either the Etsy or the BigCartel shop. And yeah, also with the product photos done, I will also be able to update parts of the portfolio to include actual merch. So yeah, that is going to be the goal throughout the week. But today's goal is primarily going to be get these two done, get them photographed, and later in the evening, depending on how I feel, which I probably should just wrap things up after dinner and just chill out for the rest of the night. So I was thinking if I don't jump right into working on product listings, I'll probably just either um, read or watch some anime, like I keep telling myself I will. And I really do need to be more diligent in giving myself rest time. So yeah, either we do more work later in the evening, or I actually do what I keep telling myself and actually take a break and catch up on things here and there. So yeah, that is pretty much the plan for today and the rest of the week, and I'll keep you guys updated. taking this quick little break. So as you guys saw, I am sewing together one of the Chubzillas, but I did want to comment on this. One of my biggest criticisms of Bernat velvet yarn is you either get a skein like this purple one that is absolutely perfect, will not give you any difficulties, and it's a dream to work with. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you get yarns like this one where it just sheds like it's its job, and there is velvet fluff scattered all over the place. And as much as I like working with Bernat velvet yarn, that is one of my biggest criticisms, is that you'll never know what kind of skein you get until you work with it. Either you get one that is completely flawless, or you get one that is an absolute nightmare and sheds like it's its job. Like that's what it was designed to do. But yeah, thankfully I started with this Chubzilla first just to get the messy shedding out of the way first, and then hopefully the purple one will be nicer to work with. But right now I'm just covered in pomegranate fluff. So yeah, that's my life at the moment. So we are going to try to get these done as soon as possible because, again, want to do photo shoots while I still have a good amount of sunlight and I can get some good lighting on these guys. But so far, legs sewn onto this one. Still needs the tail and the spine, and then this one also needs all its bits and pieces. I think I'm going to do all the legs first, and then I'll hop onto the tail. So this guy kind of ended up a little lopsided when I stuffed him. You also don't get as much of a good separation as you do with this one. He definitely ended up being more of a chunker. This is definitely more of a chunker. of space on my SD card, so I finished the Chubzillas off camera, and thankfully did have more than enough time to get the photo shoots done. So I've gotten all the product pictures out of the way, and pretty much just hopped over into card to touch up a little bit more of my gallery, because as I mentioned, I do want to apply for a couple of conventions that are going to be opening up applications or closing applications in the next few days. So I want to make sure I have my portfolio more or less complete with a good portion of my stuff. And I did look into Card's 18 plus policy, and they do allow for adult art. I'm still undecided about how I feel about putting my more 18 plus work on card, and if I'm just going to go ahead and swap over to some sort of link to another website. I'm still heavily debating on that, because the other option could just be linking to a Google Docs or a Google Drive. That's the other option. Um, but I kind of don't like the idea of that either. So overall, it might either become a link to Bluesky, if not Twitter. And that's my bread, which to my loaf, I apologize for doubting that you would rise. You actually did what you were supposed to, and I'm very proud of you. I'm sorry I doubted you. Let me go get that timer. Anyway, as I was saying, so pretty much tonight's focus shifted over into working on the card, mainly just to get the galleries a little bit more complete. There are a few images that are still too big that I am going to have to reduce their sizes, or like reduce their file sizes. Um, but yeah, for the most part, I do have the galleries going, and I did add the disclaimer for the 18 plus navigation. So pretty much the way I have it set up is that from illustration or from portfolio, you can choose between illustrations and crochet. And then from here, you'll have the regular illustrations, so any of the SFW general audience work, and then a link to the 18 plus gallery. And then a quick little disclaimer here saying that by clicking on this, you consent to being an adult, essentially. And then before actually hitting the 18 plus gallery, you are going to be met with the Are You 18 plus section. So this is kind of just like the double confirmations. Like, you have two opportunities here to click out of this. And again, it's going to be based off of an honor system, but it's there. At the very least, that's there. And you do get two opportunities to say, no, I'm not actually 18, let me back out, or I'm an adult, but I do not want to see any of this, so get me out of here. So, two opportunities to confirm you are 18 and voluntarily view the 18 plus gallery. And I'm not going to scroll down any further, because that is the part of the gallery that is more explicit. So that is what I've been working on this evening. And yeah, I'm probably going to take a break, because I will be honest, like pretty much after I got all the photos done, there was like just a part of me that just did not want to work anymore. I'm getting my second win now, but I do want to force myself to rest and actually like watch anime for a change. Like I literally need to get better about giving myself breaks, because I am terrible at that. Like, there's a part of me that needs to like stay busy for some reason, but I digress. This is the progress for this evening. I don't really feel like working on any image editing at the moment. I do have a stream scheduled for tomorrow, so we will get back on the stream schedule. And I actually did add a little. I did actually update the I did update the stream schedule, so I have one scheduled for tomorrow and another one for next Tuesday. I actually do want to do two streams a week, one for illustrations and then another one for crochet. So I just need to figure out another date that I'm willing to do another stream, um, because Mondays are the days I just let my brain kind of return online. I kind of want to do a weekend stream, but maybe another weekend stream, because I won't have time this Saturday, because I'm thinking of going to Anime Riverside. Um, and then, Sunday, I could do Sunday potentially. But yeah, for right now, this is the stream schedule. And right now, it's mainly for the illustrations. I'll start adding on crochet live streams. And I still need to figure out how to duo stream between YouTube and Twitch so I can have both of them going at the same time. Hopefully, that's not going to cause too much of a load on my computer. And I need to figure out how I'm going to manage both the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat because when I'm drawing, I don't really have visibility of Twitch or YouTube's chats. That was kind of like the one nice thing about TikTok live is that the chat was hovering off to the side in a separate window. That was really nice. um Usually for YouTube I keep the chat open on my phone. With the chat open on my phone, I don't know how I'm gonna see Twitch's chat, so I'm gonna have to figure that out maybe sometime tomorrow. But yeah. um that's pretty much all I've been doing this evening, just updates to the card. And I'm probably just gonna take a break for the rest of the evening because the next thing to do is edit images, but I don't feel like editing images. I could also work on product descriptions because I do need to babysit the oven while the loaf bakes. Or no, I really do need to give myself a break. Given that I did, like, after doing the photo shoot, I did go lie down and I did take a nap, but I think I need more, like, more than just that, like, actual dedicated rest time while I'm conscious. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and allow myself a break, I guess, and time to rest if I don't feel the need to do something else. Because there's a part of my brain saying we could crochet right now too, but it's one of this is one of the difficult things about your hobby also being part of your business is that those are things that I naturally do to just relax and de-stress, but there's also a part of my mind that's on that is like kind of technically working still. But yeah, maybe a personal project, maybe, I don't know, but I'm gonna force myself to take a break before I accidentally burn myself out. Okay, that's it for Monday. I went to go check on the loaf and there was some leakage. I'm sorry I doubted you. I am so sorry. So hopefully this works out. So oh geez, there's also a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna let you bake now. I'm sorry I had doubts. Okay, bread update. So this happened. Crispy. I don't know if I'm gonna put it back in the oven just to let it cook a little bit more, but I definitely should remove this. I also don't know how to side off the top because it seems to be pretty stuck tight, and it's hot. So I need to figure out how to roll this off, or rather slide that thing off. Anyway, yeah. But this is the bread. She overflowed. Thankfully, it didn't lead to anything disastrous in the oven. Ooh, crunchy. Ooh, I'm excited. I don't know if I should leave it longer for the rest of it, just in case, because I did only leave it in there for 45 minutes. I don't know. This is the first time I tried this bread recipe. Okay, so I have not picked up the camera in the past 2 days. So I'm pretty sure the last time you guys heard from me was on Monday. It is now Thursday, and I have not been vlogging very much. If anything, there's actually quite a bit I do need to update you guys on. And for starters, Tuesday returned to streaming, and currently, the DVDs, the Sage 04 DVD AU, we are still in the trust the process portion, and Oikawa looks like a thing of nightmares. So, we're still sketching and still trying to figure that out, but we're getting closer to something that I can potentially work with. Right now, his face card is not doing its thing, and it's not. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with his face, but aside from that, stream went pretty well on Tuesday. Um stream went well on Tuesday. It feels nice to be back in the swing of things. I did try to download Streamlabs in order to get a dual stream going, but I didn't realize that the multi-stream was a paid feature, and I am still in a position where, um, for the sake of my business, I cannot just be bleeding money dry. So, yeah, until I can see a little bit more profit come into my business, I don't think I'm ready to pay for Streamlabs quite yet, especially since it is a monthly subscription. So right now I am looking into OBS alternatives to do multi-stream so that way I can stream on both YouTube and Twitch. And I did find an extension and I did try downloading the exe for it. And then my computer thought, or at least my virus protection thought it was a virus and immediately yeeted it off my computer. So um, I'm going to have to sit down properly with a tutorial for how to set up dual streams. That way I can do both YouTube and Twitch, and also figure out a way to get the chat hovering over while I am drawing so that way I can keep an eye on both YouTube and Twitch. Um, but yeah, so Tuesday stream went well, at least in my opinion. It just felt good to be back in the swing of things. I do need to work on the graphics so that way I'm doing better advertisement on all my social media platforms and letting people know it's like, hey, I'm drawing right now. Come hang out for a little bit. But yeah, need to work on that. Maybe over the weekend if I have a smidgen of time, because I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of time this weekend because Bookshelf just got in, so I'm going to be building that on Sunday, and then Anime Riverside is going to be this weekend, so I figured I'd go check that out. Um, so yeah, maybe not enough time this weekend to look into duo streaming, but at the very least, it's something that I am going to be looking into. I forget if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but I did end up taking a good portion trying to take care of a few medical things that I needed. Actually, yeah, it was yesterday. So yeah, Wednesday I had to take care of a few medical things that I needed to get done, just pretty much and paperwork and making a couple of calls here and there. But yeah, that kind of took up some of my attention. But on the bright side, we have been making progress. So right now, I think my card is in a position that I can happily say that it's presentable and that it can, like, people can easily access the things that they could potentially want to go for. So socials are accessible. My portfolio is now there. My 18 plus art is also on there. And I did set it up in a way so that you have to click pretty much. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it at some point during the blog, but it is set up so that you are confirming that you're 18 twice. So you get the option to navigate to the 18 plus gallery, and then before you enter the 18 plus gallery, there is a disclaimer page just to kind of give you um that kind of like, hey, if you're navigating to this portion of the site, please, this is only meant for consenting adults, so unless you are a consenting adult, do not proceed. So yeah, do I do now have that set up, so I have my portfolio in a nice visible place that's easy for anyone to access, that isn't a social media site that doesn't have the best tagging system, Twitter. Anyway, um I do need to start uploading more to Instagram and TikTok. I know I've kind of been bad on doing the updates. um like I said, I really do need to hop back onto the marketing horse. And Thursday time kind of got away from me a little bit. And oh, the other thing too is I did already submit my application to FujoCon, so crossing fingers I am able to get into that one. The other thing I did end up discovering as well is Fuse Anime up in Fresno. So brought it up with my friend, and I'm gonna try to see if we can split a table and maybe split expenses, because it's going to be the it's going to be both our first anime conventions if we decide to go with it. And it'll be nice to kind of just help split expenses, because we will have to drive up there and we will need to find a hotel to stay at. But yeah, if she wants to split it, then I'm looking forward to doing Anime Fuse and experiencing that. But I'm also thinking that if ultimately, because one of the things that I did want to apply for is there's some sort of Love and Deep Space event that somebody's hosting, and it's like a Love and Deep Space Fest, and the date for that event happens to coincide with Fuse Anime. So I'm thinking that Fuse Anime would actually be the better investment of the two because it is a 2 day event. However, that's going to incur more costs in terms of table fees, um, and table fees and travel expenses. It's more expensive compared to a 1 day event that more than likely I'll just need to drive to, then drive home. So yeah, that is the main difference. But I'm also thinking of it from a perspective in terms of current stock and current items that I have available for my shop. And right now, I only offer the Myth chibis as stickers, prints, and keychains, as well as the blowies. I do have plans to crochet a couple more of the plushies from the Crane game, but that's not on the immediate road plan. So yeah, the way I'm thinking about it is that okay, realistically, what are my chances of getting accepted to Lads Fest? Which, in my opinion, are going to be relatively low because I do not have a lot of Lads merch that is available. Um, I have a very select option, and the focus is supposed to be Love and Deep Space. So I know it's one of those things that an artist who has more Love and Deep Space stock is probably going to get a higher priority than I will. So I'm thinking of it from that perspective as well, like which of the two events would be better. And all things considered, I do think Anime Fuse would be the better event um, to apply to, mainly because they are a just buy the booth. Like first come first serve by the looks of it. They just have the booths on sale online and you can just buy a table. So it doesn't seem like there's an application process, and it looks like it's very like new to the convention scene friendly. So I'm thinking like that is a clear opening to get like into the convention scene. um but I'm also like I haven't really seen many vlogs that cover this event specifically. So it does kind of make me a little bit nervous because it is going to be a first time artist alley. And I don't know how well my stuff is going to perform given that a good portion of my stuff will fit this sort of niche. But even then, like I have, for example, the Dia line of merch that I don't think very many people will recognize off the bat. Definitely haven't had much luck with selling that online either. So yeah, we'll have to see. But one of the things that is that if I do end up doing lab or applying for Lads Fest and then getting accepted, priority is going to fall onto a lot of the Lads focus pieces. So I'll be jumping straight into the second set of Myth series, and then also trying to wrap up the pole dancing AU because that is the most immediate one that's kind of ready to just start getting shoved out the door because the only thing left for those 5 pieces is rendering, and that's it. Although there is a part of me that does want to reduce Silas to better match the other 4, but I don't want to take more time away from myself. So yeah, right now, those are the 2 events that I'm kind of like juggling between the two. But all things considered, I think Anime Fuse would be the better step. One of the things I'm thinking about is if my friend doesn't want to do the event, I could potentially apply for Lads Fest, see if I get in. If I don't, I just buy a table because the Anime Fuse won't be till September. And by the looks of it, they also have the application deadline ends at like September in September as well. So that is one thing I could potentially do. But if my friend does want to do the event, I'm going to put like between Lads Fest and Anime Fuse, I think Anime Fuse deserves the priority because it'll lend itself much more nicely to a more general product line. Because again, with Lads Fest being a lad specific event, I don't think I have enough lads merch to really give myself a favorable chance to get accepted to that event. Versus Anime Fuse, you just buy a table, and I have anime merch ready to go. I have a few designs that I could begin working on now so that I can have it ready for that event. But yeah, that is where my thought process is right now. I even had to double check that it didn't overlap with FujoCon. Thankfully, it didn't because I think FujoCon is going to be held in March, and now it's going to be a waiting game to see if I get accepted to FujoCon, which will be a dream because if I do get accepted, I'm thinking like there's a lot of BLs that I've read and BLs that I really love but have never drawn fan art for them, and I really should. Like Love, Therapy Game Restart, Love Nest, and Engage so far has been pretty good. Um, could always do a couple of killing stocking pieces just for something a little darker. And what else? Ooh, Beast Storm. The babies are just so cute in Beast Storm. And Love is an Illusion. I would die for Buell. I love Buell so much. He's my baby. He's so cute. But yeah, those are kind of some of the thought process that I'm going through with trying to figure out what events to do. But yeah, definitely right now the way I'm thinking is FuseCon should get priority over Lads Fest because FuseCon will lend itself much more nicer to more general content. Um, or rather, I shouldn't say content, but more general art. And I can throw in a couple of original pieces alongside more fan merch, which is a good thing too. Um, and then as of this point, FujoCon has been applied to, so now we wait for results. Anime Fuse, I'm just currently discussing it with my friend, so we'll see if we get a table. Um, and then after that, which con opens up applications? So Lads Fest was one. SAC Anime is going to open applications on June 5th. Thankfully, I have that day off, so more than likely I can put in my application relatively early before I have to do any sort of tour or yeah. So yeah. SAC Anime is the next one that's gonna be opening up. I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for all. Oh yeah, I did. Did I apply to Anime Frontier? I forgot. I genuinely forgot. I think I did. Can you tell? Like, Anime Frontiers like completely slipped my mind. I can't remember if I applied for it or not. But again, Anime Frontier is the convention in Texas, so that one is more of just like, hey, let's shoot our shot and see what happens. And my friend did start bringing up a couple of things about taxes, and I realized like, oh shoot, you know what? If I get accepted, I'll start worrying about the seller's permit when I get accepted. So yeah, completely forgot about Anime Frontier. But yeah, uh, in short, I'm blabbering. FujoCon has been applied to, I think, Anime Frontier, if I think long and hard enough. Lads, I think, is one that I'm going to have to pass up for the meantime and just put in priority to conventions like FuseCon or Anime Fuse, I think. Fuse Anime or Anime Fuse. It's in Fresno. But anyway, Anime Fuse and then SAC Anime is the next one that's going to be opening up applications. I'm still keeping an eye out for other conventions in California that are opening up applications. And Anime Riverside is going to be the other one that's going to be on my radar. So when they open up applications, I'll definitely be applying to that. But anyway, that is all the updates that I have for you guys this evening. It is now 10 o'clock, and I will be honest, my brain has just been very flighty today, so I did not really do anything today. Good news is that Card is ready to go. May just need a couple of tweaks here and there in the future that can wait for the future. For now, I do need to focus in on advertising the shop as well as creating more promotional things for all my social medias. And tonight I was supposed to be editing product photos, but that did not happen. But I'm gonna try and get that. I'm gonna try working on that for a little bit before I go to bed because it is already 10 o'clock. But um, at the very least, if I could put another 10-15 minutes just to get something started on something, I think that'll be good for me this evening. And anywho, that is the update. Oh, yeah, and I also have my little cup of coffee right before bed, which look at me not learning how to not self-sabotage my sleep schedule. But then again, I feel like coffee hasn't really been having much of an effect with me like very recently that like I would always get black coffee during long car rides just to help stay awake while I'm driving, but I've realized over the past couple of years that's not as effective as I think I am because if my body is tired, it is tired. So that's part of the reason I've started drinking more energy drinks like Celsius and OG Energy. So maybe not a good progression. If anything, I think it might mean my caffeine tolerance is either increasing or caffeine just has the opposite effect on me, which is concerning. But because the thing is, it's like especially when I do long drives, like I need something to help me stay awake, and if coffee isn't it or caffeine isn't it, like what am I supposed to do during long drives? Like genuinely, what do I do during long drives? But yeah, that's my tiny little crisis. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and hopefully I can have a little bit more regular updates so I don't leave you hanging for days. And this is definitely not going to be one of the exciting streams. I'll see if I could squeeze in a little bit of crochet or speed paint just to kind of shake up the vlog a little bit. But I'll talk to you guys later. All right, so hello everyone. It is Sunday and your girl has not been vlogging. Um, I'm feeling pretty exhausted, so you guys are gonna get Kagayuki because I cannot bring myself to put on a mask today. So, in OG fashion, they're back on screen. So, hello everyone. It is Sunday, and not gonna lie, I forgot what I did at the beginning of the week, but I digress. So mainly a lot of things that have been going on this week have fallen more along the lines of just trying to get the product images edited and ready for the shop. I'll be honest, I do not have a lot of them done. I've been mainly just chipping away at it little by little throughout the week, and I'm gonna be setting aside to the majority of today to work on that. And I also need to put together a bookshelf. And I'll be honest, right now I'm just feeling a little bit on the overwhelmed side because I did have quite a bit of cleaning to get done. There's still quite a bit of a mess. And I did have a new bookshelf come in that I need to build, and hopefully, more of my books have a place to live now with the new bookshelf. So yeah, in the back of my head, I'm just thinking it's like I need to build the bookshelf and I need to get the product images ready, and it would be best to get the bookshelf built while there's still sunlight and I'm not causing a disturbance to my neighbors, and then saving all the photo editing for the end of the day. And yeah, I'm just a little bit on the overwhelmed side right now. Yesterday I wasn't home, so I ended up going to Anime Riverside. I unfortunately did not vlog anything for you guys. I kind of just wanted some time for myself. So did go to Anime Riverside, and it was my first time going to this event. So for a little bit of context, all through high school, all the way through college, and 2 years after college, right before COVID hit, I did frequent Anime Expo, and it was pretty much our yearly, like the yearly event to look forward to when I was still in high school with my friends. And so I pretty much went to Anime Expo for a good 9 years before COVID hit. And I haven't really gone back to Anime Expo since. I'll be honest, I kind of want to check out other events, specifically smaller anime events, in hopes of meeting some new friends and new people. And I also did go to Anime Riverside without cosplay. And in all my years of going to anime conventions, that was the first event I went to that I didn't dress up, and I just low key kind of felt a little naked. So if anything in the future, I will try to go to events with cosplay. I do really miss cosplaying and making costumes. I just didn't really have much of a drive to work on cosplay because I wasn't really going to conventions anymore. But now that I'm trying to go to more conventions as either a seller or a attendee, I want to hop back into the cosplay train and actually work on costumes again because I really do miss cosplaying, dressing up, and just making things. So yeah, one of my millions of hobbies. So cosplay is one of the things that I do want to get back into. Um, as for Anime Riverside, the I only went for one day, and it was a lot of fun. And I really liked how small and contained everything was. It was kind of new to me because I remember every single time I would go to Anime Expo, the very first couple of years I would go, Artist Alley would be towards the back of the vendors hall, while the more commercial vendors were towards the front of the space. Eventually, Artist Alley did get their own space set aside specifically for them. So not then vendors hall and then Artist Alley became their own things. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of like back when I used to attend where everything was kind of kept nearby and close together. So it was pretty easy to hop between the two. But yeah, that was, oh, I looked down at my keychain and I just realized murder is spelled incorrectly. Yeah, I just looked down and my keys just happened to be there, so I just realized murder spelled wrong. Anyway, but Anime Riverside was a lot of fun. I did try to go to 2 gatherings because one of my favorite thing about conventions are cosplay gatherings, and just being together with a whole bunch of other people who are cosplaying the same series and just it breaking out into its own little mess of havoc is always so much fun. So did go to a couple of gatherings, given that they were very small and tiny. I tried going to the Identity 5 gathering, but it didn't seem like there were a lot of people there. So I kind of just went back into Artist Alley and the Vendors Hall. After that, I did try to attend the Alien Stage gathering, which there was only like one Ivan. And the funny thing is, I think that person had changed out of that cosplay, but then changed back into it just for the gathering, just to say that they had an Ivan. But yeah, surprising lack of Ivans. A whole bunch of Tills and so many different variations, but no Ivans. But yeah, it was very small, very sweet, and yeah, those were the 2 gatherings I ended up going to, and the organizer of the Alien Stage gathering did get some ribbons together. And I will be honest, I am still very much on the tired and exhausted side, but I still got things to do, so I'm trying to like get myself to actually do things, especially since technically yesterday was my rest day, so today is going to have to be a work day. But like I said, I do still need to build a bookcase, and I also need to work on product images because the drop is going to be this coming, not this, well, Sunday, June 7th is going to be the drop, so I got a lot of work cut out for me. Yay. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right back into work, and this has been your Sunday update. Okay, so I got started on building out the bookshelf, and I pretty much emptied out the corner that I was planning to put the bookshelf in, but I realized that I didn't really like how it was going to work out because it's a corner bookshelf, and ideally this would be tucked away against a wall, but what I was planning to do with it was just tuck it, so pretty much push it up against one wall, and then the backside would be facing towards my bed. And I quickly realized that if I plan to use this thing as a bookshelf, it's not really going to work all too well because there's going to be a portion where the books won't really be able to get pushed to the back like pretty firmly or securely. Like if you push it, then there's a chance it might fall over. So I'm looking at it right now and I'm honestly a little bit frustrated with myself because I don't have it fully built out yet. I do have only one shelf built out just so that I could test it out in the corner that I had planned for it. But I started thinking more about it and I realized like that's because I plan to stack a few things behind it as well, and like where it's not leaned up against the wall, I do plan to add a few things there too. But yeah, I don't think it's going to work the way I wanted to. If anything, I probably need a bookshelf with a closed back just so that I could stack things up behind it. Um, right now, I'm kind of debating between returning it and possibly tucking it up against the wall where I have my craft cart, and quite likely it can hold books and craft supplies. It wasn't my intended use for it, but if anything, that might work. I'm just not sure how well it's going to fit, and and pretty much that's currently being barricaded because that's where I moved most of the things to, and it's a mess right now. So right now I'm kind of just frustrated with myself. I'm tired. Um, it's Sunday. I'm still tired from yesterday, and there's still a lot of things to do for the shop. So I don't know if I'm just going to sleep on it and figure it out from there, or I don't know what I'm gonna do with this bookshelf. I'm kind of just thinking of returning it and then finding a better solution to my shelving needs. But at the same time, I'm also thinking because this is a almost, I want to say a 6 tier bookshelf, and I got it for a really decent price, and it's actually a pretty good quality too. That like I paid under $100 for it, so it might be worth keeping and then just repurposing it for that corner of the living room. So we'll see. I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, if anything, it might work there. I don't know if the sewing machine will fit in the very bottom shelf, though. Because if the sewing machine fits in the bottom shelf, that might be worth it. But yeah, right now just a little bit frustrated because it was a lot of work to move a bunch of stuff, to not have the bookshelf work the way I intended it to, and yeah, yeah. I'm debating between returning it or repurposing it. So that's where I'm at right now, and we'll see what I end up going with. One thing I've been meaning to vlog about, but I really haven't had the chance to, and I need to throw away this box, and I've been putting it off because I wanted to film it first. But I picked this doll up from Marshall's for around $10 a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that I was always interested in when I was younger was doll customization. And I grew up watching a lot of Delightful's doll customization videos. And if you're not familiar with this, pretty much what some doll customizers will do, they'll pretty much take a base doll. So let's say a Barbie doll. Delightful did a lot of Monster High dolls in her designs, and they'll pretty much just, there's no other way to say it, but they'll pretty much destroy the doll to reimagine them with new designs. And I've always wanted to give it a try. I've just never had the heart to pay full price for a Monster High doll just to destroy her, because I've always wanted the base to be a Monster High doll because I love the designs of specifically the first generation designs. But I'm finding it increasingly difficult to find Monster High dolls that fit closer to what they used to be when they first released. And I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the newer remakes, or rather the newer releases. So I found this for $10, and I actually really like the face sculpt, because one of the reasons that I pretty much was set on getting a Monster High doll was because of the way they do the face sculpts, and I just really like their like body designs and everything. But I found this Barbie doll, and I'm just like, you know what? I kind of like her for the idea of a doll customization. And I was thinking of doing one for like my mascot Sky, or my, I guess, yeah, closest thing I can refer to her as a mascot. So I was thinking of making one of Sky, and I figured the face shape is perfect and the body shape is perfect, so why not? And so I grabbed this doll in hopes of doing a little doll customization project. And yeah, when I finally find the opening, I'll keep you guys updated. So, gonna turn this into a Skylar dream. Um, so yeah, gonna turn this into a Skylar dream doll. And wish me luck, because this is gonna be my first doll customization, and it's one thing I've always wanted to do now, just to find the time among my plethora of hobbies. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. I'm still cleaning. It took most of the day, but I got the bookshelf all built once I got over my tantrum, and I'm tired. Once I got over my tantrum and gave it a shot in this corner of the room, I like the concept of it. I like the concept of it. My only issue with this thing is that it's really unstable. And in the instruction booklet, it does come with brackets that you're supposed to use to pretty much adhere it to the wall as extra security. But my issue is that I rent, and I don't necessarily want to drill a hole into the wall just to attach my bookshelf. And I also live in Earthquake Central, California. So I'm debating if I actually do want to keep this, given that it might be a hazard. And what I have at the bottom is pretty heavy. And even with that there, I'm wondering if I just distribute a little bit more weight throughout the bookshelf, if that will help. I also put like a little layer of cardboard underneath to kind of help spread out the weight, because I do have carpeted floors. I'm wondering if I just keep the front with the cardboard and then just have the back kind of just be on carpet, because I think there was a little bit more stability when it was directly on the carpet. But yeah, I'm kind of double thinking this bookshelf, even though it would 100% be useful. I just don't want it to become a safety hazard in the long run, which is my main concern. Not to mention, if this thing falls over, I like my stuff. I don't want anything to get broken. Excuse me. I even had a few plans to maybe put a couple of figures on the shelf, but again, given that it's kind of unstable, I'm thinking twice about that. But yeah, I'm kind of just debating what the best move would be because it's a tall shelf. I'm not going to drill into my hole, so I'm debating if I'm even going to keep this or not. But it's one of those like bittersweet moments because I was already debating on returning it before I even finished building it. And now I'm just thinking like if it's gonna be a safety hazard, I'm better off just returning it and getting my money back and then buying this thing again in the future when I'm in a more ideal situation, maybe when I have a house. But yeah, I'm going to have to sleep on this shelf. I'm gonna try something tomorrow, but yeah, this took most of the day. Eventually I found an efficient way to assemble this thing, but yeah, as much as I love this bookshelf and how much it would really help with just decluttering, it's just I don't know. I can't justify a safety hazard, especially when I don't want to drill into the walls. I'm like I rent, so yeah, that is my main. Also, have not watched Demon Slayer, but I do have the manga that is still unopened. I just have not had a lot of time to read or like really get into things, so I really need to read A Silent Voice too. And with that, I shall be ending this week's vlog. So, not really as much progress as I wanted to get done for my shop update. I'll be honest, I'm looking at my photo editing for all of my product pictures, and there are some variations in how the colors, especially when you look at the backgrounds, there's some variations in the coloring, and pretty much I adjusted the files based off of what I thought would look good for the charm. So there is, you could see there's like a little bit of like variation between the editing when you compare certain images side by side, but I'm in a position that I'm thinking just do your best, make it happen, and we can always go back and just touch things up in the future because right now the priority will be getting things ready for the shop update coming this Sunday. So June 7th is going to be the shop update. And yeah, I'm still working through the images. I still need to make the images for the stickers and the prints. That one low-key kind of worries me, but with BigCartel, it'll be pretty easy. For BigCartel, it'll be a lot easier for me to spread out my prints into different shop listings. However, when it comes to Etsy, it's going to, so if I make individual product listings for each of my prints. So let's say, for example, because my haiku prints don't really follow rhyme or reason, I'm ultimately going to have to put all my haiku prints into one Etsy listing, which is ultimately what's going to need to happen if I don't want to put in too much for listings that are only going to last 3 months, and it'll be a toss up whether someone purchases a print or not. Not to mention Etsy. Um, but yeah, so BigCartel will be easier to like list out each print individually. And then Etsy is going to be a little bit more of a challenge because each listing is going to be a charge. So what I'm thinking is that I am going to do two different things. So for BigCartel, I'll just upload the image itself. I'm going to set it to a background and then just for each individual print because they don't, again, unless they are like, for example, the lads prints or the Dia Succubus AU, those will go into one post because they're all part of the same series. But for prints like, for example, my Cyberpunk Dragon Tendo, my Iwaizumi with Chubzy, and then Atsumu's DVD AU, those are each going to have to become their own listings on my BigCartel because they just simply do not mesh well together as one listing. And the same thing is going to happen for things like Yukimi, Joseph, and so on and so forth. So, unless they fall in as part of a series, they're probably going to be listed separately. So, that is the plan for BigCartel Etsy. Ultimately, they will need to go in as individual series just to kind of help save a little bit more. But yeah, right now, moving forward, aside from testing something out with a bookshelf to see whether or not I'm going to return it or not, ultimately, I really need to just hammer down on getting all the product listings drafted out and ready so that all I have to do is just hit publish come February. February. I'm tired. I am tired. Anyway, my main focus will be getting all the listings ready by this Sunday. So June 7th will be the shop lunch, and I'm just going to do my best. My photo editing skills are on the rusty side. I have not picked up a camera and done like intentional photography, like actually fix like aperture exposure, um, and stuff like that since I was in high school. And yeah, I'm more than a little bit rusty on my photography skills. I can't even say I have a good grasp on the basics anymore when it comes to lighting and photo editing. So, not to mention, I'm not using Photoshop, I'm using um, Affinity Photo. So that's a tool I'm also still trying to get used to and slowly learning. So, um, yeah, so I'm going to have grace with myself when it comes to the product images, and hopefully they look good for the shop at the very least. And then moving forward, I will improve little by little. So, yeah, just part of it is having grace on myself because I am a little bit on the what is wrong with me side of things because, again, I did go to Anime Riverside yesterday, so that took up a day. And then today I was like 100% ready to work on the shop images, but I had to get the bookcase built, which took a lot longer than I thought it would because the initial spot I was going to place it in did not work out. I found a new spot for it, but now I'm realizing, like, oh shoot, this thing might actually become a hazard. So, yeah, Sunday didn't pan out the way I was hoping it would. So, a little bit frustrated with myself, maybe even mad with myself right now. So, um, yeah, I'm. It's supposed to be bedtime, but I am going to stay up a little bit later just to work on product images for a little bit, just to make it easier for me for the rest of the week. But yeah, for right now, that is the end of the vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.